Welcome to mybookssummary.com. Get ready for quick wisdom of countless books in just minutes and explore. Pippi Longstocking, written by Astrid Lindgren, is a delightful and whimsical story about an extraordinary girl who lives life on her terms. First published in 1945, the book introduces readers to Pippi, a quirky red-haired girl with unmatched strength, a limitless imagination, and a heart of gold, living alone in her eccentric home, Villa Villekulla, alongside her pet monkey, Mr. Nielsen, and a spotted horse. Pippi's adventures capture the essence of childhood freedom and unbridled creativity. This story is more than a collection of quirky anecdotes. It's a celebration of individuality, resilience, and the joy of being unapologetically oneself. With humor, warmth, and a touch of chaos, Lindgren's Pippi takes us on a wild journey where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Welcome to Villa Villekulla. In a quaint little town, nestled away from the hustle and bustle, stands an unusual house called Villa Villekulla. Its bright colors and haphazard charm make it stand out like a misplaced puzzle piece. This is the home of Pippi Longstocking, a 9-year-old girl with flaming red pigtails that stick straight out, and a face dotted with freckles. Pippi is not your average girl. For one, she has no parents to boss her around. Her father, a sailor, is believed to be living as a king on a South Sea island, and her mother, Pippi insists, watches over her from the skies. For another, she possesses superhuman strength, able to lift her horse with one hand and toss robbers around like they're nothing more than ragdolls. The neighbors, especially the adults, don't quite know what to make of Pippi, but to the two children next door, Tommy and Annika, she's a dream come true. Tommy and Annika meet Pippi. Tommy and Annika are polite, well-behaved siblings who live in a neatly kept house. Their days are predictable and uneventful until they notice the peculiar girl living next door. Curious, they wander over to Villa Villekulla, and their lives are never the same. Pippi greets them with her usual eccentric flair, wearing mismatched stockings, oversized shoes, and a patched-up dress that somehow suits her perfectly. She introduces them to her horse, which lives on the porch, and Mr. Nielsen, her mischievous little monkey. From the very first meeting, Pippi turns their world upside down. She tells outrageous stories about her adventures at sea, including battles with pirates and escapes from wild animals. Whether or not these tales are true is irrelevant. Pippi's enthusiasm is contagious, and Tommy and Annika are hooked. The strongest girl in the world, Pippi's strength is legendary, and she never hesitates to use it in the most unexpected ways. When bullies try to pick on Tommy and Annika, Pippi lifts them by their collars and tosses them into a tree. When a fire breaks out, she single-handedly saves children trapped in a burning building. But Pippi's strength isn't just physical, it's also emotional. She's fiercely independent, refusing to conform to societal expectations. While adults try to teach her proper manners, Pippi defies them with wit and charm. School days or not quite. The adults in town, particularly the schoolteacher, decide that Pippi should attend school like every other child. After all, it's unthinkable for a 9-year-old girl to grow up without learning arithmetic or proper grammar. Pippi reluctantly agrees to give school a try, mostly because she wants to have school holidays like Tommy and Annika. Her one day at school is a hilarious disaster. She sits upside down in her chair, answers questions with absurd logic, and interrupts lessons with wild stories. When the teacher tries to reprimand her, Pippi replies, "If I had stayed in school longer, I might have gotten stuck with rules forever." She decides that formal education isn't for her and walks out, leaving the adults shaking their heads. Pippi's sense of justice. Pippi's moral compass may be unconventional, but it's firmly rooted in kindness and fairness. When thieves break into Villa Villekulla one night, Pippi catches them red-handed. Instead of calling the police, she plays games with them, feeds them, and eventually sends them on their way with their dignity intact. In another instance, she encounters a cruel circus performer who mistreats animals. Pippi intervenes, standing up for the animals, and teaching the man a lesson he won't soon forget. Her sense of justice also extends to Tommy and Annika. Whenever they feel sad or powerless, Pippi swoops in with her unique blend of humor and courage, reminding them that life is meant to be enjoyed. A pirate's daughter. Pippi's backstory. though touched with sadness, is an adventure in itself. She grew up on the high seas, sailing with her father, Captain Ephraim Longstocking. Her tales of pirate battles and treasure hunts are the stuff of legends. Though her father's fate is uncertain, Pippi believes he's alive and well, ruling over an island of happy natives. She carries his adventurous spirit within her. Every day at Villa Villekulla is an opportunity for make-believe games that blur the line between reality and fantasy. The humorous chaos of everyday life. Life with Pippi is anything but ordinary. Whether she's baking cookies with Tommy and Annika, or attending a coffee party hosted by the local ladies, Pippi brings chaos and laughter wherever she goes. One memorable day, she decides to clean her house by tying brushes to her feet and skating across the floor. On another, she teaches Tommy and Annika how to climb trees, turning their quiet backyard into a jungle gym of epic proportions. Through it all, Pippi's infectious joy and unshakable confidence remind her friends and readers that the world is full of wonder if you're willing to look for it. The police come calling. The local authorities, worried about a child living alone, decide it's time to send Pippi to a children's home. When two policemen arrive at Villa Villekulla, they find themselves outmatched by the clever girl. Pippi leads them on a merry chase through the yard, climbing trees and playing pranks until they finally give up, exhausted. "Why would I leave my beautiful home and my horse and Mr. Nielsen?" she asks innocently. The policeman can only shrug, baffled by her logic. A friend to all. Despite her oddities, Pippi has a heart as big as her imagination. She shares her treasures with Tommy and Annika, invites lonely children to play at Villa Villekulla, and never hesitates to help those in need. Her generosity extends even to strangers. When a traveling circus comes to town, Pippi buys enough tickets for every child to attend. And when a group of burglars tries to steal from the circus, Pippi steps in to save the day. The big goodbye, an emotional farewell. Toward the end of the story, Pippi receives word that her father is alive and waiting for her to join him on his island. Though thrilled at the thought of reuniting with her father, she's torn about leaving her friends and Villa Villekulla behind. In a poignant farewell scene, Pippi promises Tommy and Annika that she'll never forget them. She leaves Villa Villekulla, but her spirit and the lessons she taught them remain. Final thoughts: a celebration of individuality. Pippi Longstocking is more than just a children's book. It's a manifesto for living life with joy, courage, and authenticity. Through Pippi's adventures, Astrid Lindgren challenges societal norms and celebrates the power of imagination and self-reliance. Pippi's unconventional ways remind us that it's okay to be different, and her boundless optimism is a beacon of hope in a world often weighed down by rules and expectations. In her mismatched socks and oversized shoes, Pippi teaches us that life is an adventure meant to be lived on our terms. So, the next time you feel the weight of conformity pressing down on you, remember Pippi Longstocking, the girl who turned the world upside down and made it a brighter, happier place. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.